Welcome back to more of the news. I hope you're having a fantastic day. So they released an update to the battle rating changes, as everybody hated the last ones, and everyone hates these ones as well. Dare I say, these are actually worse. Actually, I think I will say that because a good majority of them had stayed unchanged. For example, the Panther F is still going down, while the Panther G staying at 6.0. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, and let's get into these. But before we start getting into the individual numbers, we have to talk about some things that they brought up. They have decided not to move the German M48 or the T-44-100. They will be staying at their battle ratings of 7.0. Now, they never put forward any reasoning on why the T-44-100 was planned to go down in battle rating, but they did try to argue their point of why the German M48 should go down in battle rating while the US one shouldn't. Their reasoning go along the lines of that the German one faces different opponents than the US one, noting that the top 5 enemy vehicles that the German one faces is the Vickers MBT, the FV-4202, the Centurion, the Carnarvon, and the T-34, while the US one faces Leopard 1s, BMP 1s, Tiger 2Hs, German BMP 1s, and T-44-100s. The main argument being that the abundance of stabilizers in the enemy tanks makes the German M48 suffer more than the US one would, which on paper sounds like a fantastic argument and totally makes sense. However, if you actually look at it, it doesn't make any sense, because it doesn't say anything about the German M47, which is almost the same tank, having similar armor layout, though weaker armor, a weaker engine, as well as the same gun, but a higher battle rating. Being in the same nation, you would expect it to face the same opponents. Why is this one treated different while the German M48 has a lower battle rating? What you could assume, a possibility perhaps, is that when the vehicle is stock, it is so bad that it loses to a point in which they want to put it down to 6.7, which is say something about stock vehicles. Perhaps maybe that's the area to look at when it comes to vehicles that have such poor kill-death or win-loss ratios, or whatever statistic they use to judge battle ratings. But the poor quality of this answer does not even stop there, as we can also point out there is another M48 and another tech tree that actually faces both of these vehicle groups. That is still 7.3. That is the Chinese M48A1, complete copy-paste of the US one. And as it being Chinese, it would also face not only the British stabilized tanks, but also the Leopard 1s and BMP 1s that the US one faces. If it is the vehicles that is facing and not the skill of the players, then why isn't the Chinese one also being considered for having a lower battle rating? Perhaps maybe it is the skill of the players and not the vehicles they face. But another observation to take with this account is of the vehicles they list, the top 5 vehicles that each M48 faces, the ones in the US side have an average higher battle rating. Well, honestly, 2 of them are the same. The BMP 1 for Russia and Germany, kind of the same thing. Both of them are at 7.3, while for the German one, it has 3 7.0s. If anything, is an argument that the American M48 should have a lower battle rating because it unfairly faces higher battle rating vehicles. But also take note that 4 out of these top 5 vehicles that the M48 faces are all British tanks. Maybe the issue isn't the M48, maybe the issue is the British tanks. Maybe they need to go up in battle rating. And actually, in fact, they are planning to increase the battle rating of a number of these British tanks. However, I still doubt very much that the stabilizers are making such a great improvement. Now, stabilizers are a great thing, definitely do improve the performance of a tank, but I don't think they improve the performance of a tank so much to the point in which a 7.3 tank is equivalent to a 6.7 tank against it. But honestly, I question the validity of this statement saying that these are the top 5 tanks that these vehicles face, mainly because the majority of them are lower battle rating ones. I mean, it always feels like you get up tiered, especially with 7.3 stuff, or even 7.0. They also had noted, I'm not exactly sure what this means, but it's something that they put down. In ground to RB, some pairs of meetings of game nations and certain VR ranges will be disabled, and new pairs of meetings can be added to simplify the work of the matchmaker. It sounds a bit like Gaijin is being run by a rogue AI, but also sounds like we're gonna see different nation groupings in matches. Perhaps maybe they're gonna make it so you can finally face UK when you're playing America, but they don't actually say exactly what they mean by this, so God knows. But the final note before we get to the battle rating changes is that all top tier Soviet MBTs are going down from 10.7 to 10.3, and in doing this, they are claiming that the T80B will no longer be ineffective and will remain at 10.0. And they end this paragraph with, we are also working on introducing more effective MBTs for other nations, similar in efficiency to the later versions of the Leopard 2. Now that's some positive news mixed in with this potato salad, which is a bad thing. I don't like potato salad. But don't worry, they end it with another bad thing, or at least bad in my measure. They are planning to increase the reload time for all Leopard Leopard 2A5s as well as the Leopard 2A6 by 1 shot per minute, meaning that they will fire 9 shots per minute instead of 10. Why? Because it's just too good. They don't want to increase the battle rating because then they'd have to introduce a new level of battle rating, and that might balance things. But if they make the tank worse and make other tanks have a lower battle rating, the Russian ones, then they can achieve their goal of Russian bias. I mean, they can achieve their goal of, what are you doing here, Gaijin? If the tank is doing good, increase the battle rating. Don't artificially nerf it. That just pisses everyone off. But really, this reads like a joke about Russian bias. Literally reducing the top tier Russian tanks to a lower battle rating and making the reload rate of the German tanks longer. Do I have to say more? You already know the punchline. And I'm not even trying to make the argument, oh, Russian bias or anything. That's just what it looks like. I don't know what Gaijin's doing here. I'm not sure who they're biased for. I would say Russia, but they're also trying to make the German M48 6.7. Whatever. Before I have a migraine from all this stupidity, let's get on to the battle rating changes. Now, I'm not going to go reread every single one. I'm only going to read the ones that changed. So if I didn't bring up one that was in the last video, it is probably staying the same. So starting with the United States, the only new additions to their battle rating change list was the T-25, which is now going to 6.3 in realistic battles and will be able to face the Object 120 in an up tier. Think about it. And the T-26E11 and arcade is going up to 6.7. On to Germany. Yeah, I know that was short. The Stug 3F in realistic battles is going down to 3.3. The Martyr 3 is going down to 2.3 across the board. The Stuart Emil is now going only down to 4.7 across the board, opposed to its old change of 4.3. However, it's not stated if it's going to be going in a group with a different max or not. Seeing that it's not noted anymore, I'm assuming it's not going to go there anymore. As I said earlier, the M48A2C is not going to 6.7. It is staying at 7.0. A new one that people are criticizing quite a lot is the Leopard 1 going down to 7.3. This one, to agree, I understand their reasoning. Thinking about it, it is just about 100% worse than, say, the Vickers MBT. This thing has just about no armor, but also no stabilizer. It does have Heat FS, but I don't find Heat FS that useful when compared to the APDS. While the Vickers MBT has a very fast fire rate as well as a stabilizer, as well as no armor, making it a pretty strong counter to the Leopard, though I'm pretty sure the Leopard is quite a lot faster. But be sure to tell me down below what you think about the Leo 1 being moved down to 7.3. Final two, the Rad Panzer 90 is being moved up in realistic to 9.3, and the TAM 2C is being moved up in realistic to 9.7. Good, make them higher. Put them both at 10.0. I hate those things. They're so annoying. Don't actually put them at 10.0. That's a joke. Put it at 9.3. It is just fine. The TAM 2C probably could function at higher battle ratings. It does have that nice penetration and thermals. The Rad Panther, I'm pretty sure, only has night vision. So definitely, while it could operate at high battle ratings, would not operate well with all the night battles. But if this thing's going up, shouldn't the M1128 also go up? It's just like this thing's slower, but it has higher penetrating rounds as well as an autoloader. I feel like it should also be 9.3. Now, I love it at 9.0, and I don't want it to go up because I'm biased in this situation, but I feel like it should be 9.3 just based on its ability alone, not necessarily whatever people get with statistics. On to Russia with their tanks. The Su-122 is being moved up in realistic from 2.7 to 2.3. That's actually down. The Su-57 Be is once again being moved down from 3.0 to 2.7. The ISU-122S seems to be staying at 5.7 as it did not repeat it in the updated battle rating changes. And also, as I said, the T-44-100 is also staying at its 7.0 battle rating. But beyond that is a new one that I know a lot of people are gonna love. The IS-3 across the board is going from 7.3 to 7.0, which a lot of people have been asking for, and it kind of deserves it. While it does have really strong armor, the ammunition is trash. Less penetration than the Longa 88 that you find all the way down at 5.7. And while the volumetric shells were definitely a buff to this thing's armor, to its shells, on the other hand, was a unfortunate nerf. If it does end up being OP at 7.0, I think it would be fine for it to last a little while till they up tier it back up to not being OP. Or honestly, you can just let the thing be OP. I feel like it deserves it. It's suffered for so long. Also going down, and I feel like it deserves it as well, is the Object 268, that tank destroyer T-10M looking thing. Honestly, if you know where to shoot it, it's not that hard to kill from the front, and the casemate part is pretty easy to penetrate from the sides or back. So being 7.0, I think it'll be fine there. But now on to something that is dramatically stupid, and I do not understand the reasoning at all about this. T-54 1949 going down across the board from 7.7 to 7.3. Also removing the 3B the M8 shell, the APDS round, and will be separate from the other T-54s in the folder. If you are unaware, this is the second T-54 in the 3 T-54s in the folder. Why? What's the reasoning behind this? Why are you removing the shell? Is it because if you left it with that shell and put it at 7.3, it would be OP? Then why are you bringing it down? Why not just let it keep the shell and keep it at the current battle rating? And if you needed a separate T-54 out of the folder, why not use the 1947 one? And I know the 1947 one is the best one thanks to its weird armor layouts, but I don't think the armor layout change is really that dramatic to the point where the other ones need to have a lower battle rating but also lose the shell. I don't understand these changes. It confuses me trying to understand why. Like, maybe there's something I'm missing here that says that this tank for some reason needs to lose a shell and go down a battle rating. Like, why not just leave it where it is? Don't touch anything. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Just leave it here. We'll go on to the next tank. The ZSU 57-2 going down across the board from 7.7 to 7.3. I don't think it needs to go down, but I'm not going to argue against it. This is a good choice, comrades. As I said earlier, the T80B is not going anywhere, but the T80U as well as the T72 B3, as I said also, are going down to 10.3 because those German tanks are just too good and they need to have longer reloads, as well as these poor Russian tanks that are trying their best need to have lower battle ratings, comrades. There's also 2 changes to aircraft. Both of the SUs are going different places. The SU-7B is going down from 9.7 to 9.3 in realistic, and the SU-BKL is going down from 10.0 to 9.7 in realistic. For the British, a number of tanks are also getting new battle rating changes, starting with the Crusader Mark III going up from 2.7 to 3.0 across the board. The Churchill 1 is also going across the board from 3.0 to 3.3, while the Churchill Mark III is going from 4.0 to 4.3 in realistic, as well as the German one. I know, surprising. German tank actually has the same battle rating as the main tech tree version. The Comet Mark I as well as the Iron Duke version are going up from 5.3 to 5.7 in realistic, and switching places with the Challenger, not the MBT Challenger, the lower tier one at 5.3. In fact, actually that one is moving from 5.3 to 5.0 only in arcade though. However, the raise in battle rating changes does not end there for the British. The Centurion Mark III as well as all variants, including the Action X, but not including the FV-4202, are all going up from 7.0 to 7.3 across the board. This is also happening to the Carnarvon, and the Swingfire is going down from 7.7 to 7.3. So at least you have something nice to put in your new 7.3 lineup. They really got to get the work together and get some volumetric armor on the turret mantlet of these tanks, as the issue with volumetric shells is definitely making these things overperform more than just a little bit. With the way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised to see these things at 7.7 soon enough. There was one new change in the aircraft. The Jaguar G1 in realistic is moving down from 10.0 to 9.7. The French one is not going down in battle rating. However, the ordnance that these aircraft can carry is much different. I'm pretty sure they also have different cannons, so it is very unlike the M48 situation. Now, something that annoyed me about the planes that are being changed in battle rating is they still have the Buccaneer S2 listed as having a changed battle rating from 9.3 to 9.7, a change that had already happened last year, literally. Despite this being a revision of the battle rating changes that they had already suggested, maybe hopefully by the time the final battle rating changes are out, they'll have noted that they are already listing a battle rating change that has taken place. But to get on with things, for the boats, there were 3 new ones. The Fermal D5001 as well as the Fermal C332 are both going across the board from 3.3 to 3.0, and the Garland H37, as it should been when it was first introduced, is going down to 3.7 from 4.0 across the board. There was only one thing changed for Japan, that was the PG02 was going down from 3.7 to 3.3 across the board. On to China, they had 2 tanks change their battle ratings. The WZ305 was going up in arcade from 8.0 to 8.3, while the ZTZ99 across the board was going from 10.7 to 10.3. Obviously, it's not going to be winning a whole lot of games because it is the only 10.7 tank. There isn't even a 10.0 tank in the Chinese tree. There is no backups, no spags, no nothing. So I don't know if this thing needs to be down tiered. I think what it needs is some extra vehicles to take out with it. Also, the Q5 early is also going down in realistic from 10.0 to 10.7. However, the Chinese F104A is not going up to 10.3 in arcade. That change was cut from the listing. Italy only had 2 new changes. changes, the G91YS and realistics is going down from 10.0 to 9.7 finally, and the Freccia P493 is going up across the board from 4.3 to 4.7. Now we've finally come back to France, and the EBR is actually going even further up, not just to 5.0, but all the way to 5.3 now across the board. And the changes for the French tanks do not end with the EBR. The M4A4 SA50 is also going up to 5.0 across the board. In arcade, the CA Lorraine is going down from 6.3 to 6.0, but in realistic, the Char 25T as well as the AML 90 are going up from 6.7 to 7.0. I knew this was going to happen when the EBR was introduced. France 4.7 for a while had been a little bit OP with some pretty high penetrations on a lot of their vehicles, and I knew that a new vehicle, a very hype vehicle being added to around that area would bring attention to it, and bringing attention to it would bring Gaijin's attention to it, who would then balance it. And by balance, I mean to completely destroy it. The M4A4 SA50 has 200 millimeters of penetration. Its armor's not great and it's not super fast, but it has 200 millimeters of penetration. There is no reason why it should be at 4.7, but it has been for quite some time now. Unfortunately, it seems they have finally come around to change it. But they didn't change my favorite 4.7 OP French vehicle, and I'm not going to tell you what one that is, so you guys can't go and report, oh, we gotta change this thing. Nuh-uh-uh. I'm gonna keep that one for me. And for the final nation, 2 new Swedish tanks have been put on the chopping block. The IKV 103 is actually going down in battle rating, and arcade from 5.7 to 5.3, and realistic from 5.3 to 5.0. Many people hate this tank because it has heat FS at 5.3 and now soon to be 5.0, and the heat FS can penetrate about 400 millimeters, but heat FS also has no velocity. You basically toss it out of the tank. As well, it has no armor, so MGs can kill the thing. God forbid any aircraft shoot you. And it's not fast or has any other qualities, so I don't think it would be even OP at this battle rating. It would be pretty fun to yeet some people with 400 millimeter penetrating heat FS, especially a jumbo or something like that. But so far it hasn't, and I don't expect it to become OP. But also, the Azred R is going up in battle rating from 10.0 to 10.3 across the board. I guess it's just really good at swatting flies. And finally, for Swedish planes, the J32B is going down in battle rating from 10.0 to 9.7. Now this fun ride doesn't end there. It should be open to the point where you can still go and complain if you dislike some of these changes, but apparently they are already, because of huge negative feedback, they are going to reconsider the changes once again. And I'm pretty sure there's more things I could complain about. However, I think this video is long enough. So before I head out, first I'd like to thank my YouTube members, patrons, as well as Twitch subs. Not only does their generous financial support allow me to purchase Ultra Milk, but also cereal, which I put in that Ultra Milk and eat. It is a fantastic combination. I suggest you look into it. If you have any comments, concerns, or questions, you could be sure to hit me up down below in the comments or on my Discord. If you've enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not like the video, do not hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I make more than the weekly news videos every Friday. I make random videos of the week, and I like to stream on Saturdays. So be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified anytime I upload anything at all. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. In the terms of bonus news and having to do with battle ratings, many complain that the Xbox exclusive XM1, the Chrysler edition, has a lower battle rating, and they typically blame it on the lower quality playing of console players. However, I feel actually like it deserves that battle rating because behind the gun mantlet, which is only 200 millimeters thick, is nothing. You can just shoot the gun mantlet and you're right in the tank. You could probably ammo rack it that way. So it's definitely not up to the standard of the other XM1. Now perhaps both of the XM1s should have a higher battle rating, but that's another discussion. I feel this one definitely deserves a lower one than the GM one.